Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. This is your digital classroom. My name is TS Sudhir. I hope you have heard the big news about the cancellation of the ICSE Class 10 and ISC Class 12 examinations. All these last 3 weeks or so, we have been been in constant touch with each other on YouTube, over the comment section, over Instagram and several email on whatever is happening in the Bombay High Court. Finally, there is some closure with the council, the lawyer for the ICSE Council, telling the Supreme Court that we will do what the CBSE has done. We will cancel both the ICSE Class 10 and the ISC Class 12 examinations, the pending papers which were scheduled for the first 2 weeks of July 2020. So that is the mota headline. But what happened in court? That's interesting, because after the CBSE case was heard, the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta spoke to the court, informed about whatever decisions were taken by the CBSE. The lawyer for the ICSE Council was called. Now, an interesting development took place yesterday after the proceedings of the Bombay High Court. The ICSE Council requested that the case be shifted from the Bombay High Court to the Supreme Court because this similar case was being heard in the Supreme Court. Thereafter, Arvind Tiwari, the person who had filed the PIL in the Bombay High Court, also filed a caveat saying that he too needs to be heard. But I think the technical link could not be established with Arvind Tiwari today, but he will be there tomorrow when the verdict is finally announced. Okay. What happened in court? Jaideep Gupta, who was representing the ICSE Council, said we will follow what the CBSE has done, but there will be one big difference. The big difference is, unlike the CBSE, which has said that class 12 students who want to better their performance will be allowed to take the examinations at a later date. It could be September or October 2020, whenever the situation is conducive, quote unquote. But the ICSE has decided to close the matter once and for all. There will be no ISC examination for class 12 students. That option does not exist for the ISC students, unlike the CBSE class 12 student. So that's one big difference. Now, the other major part about the methodology. Okay, this word methodology has become part of the ICSE vocabulary now, right? Because of that whole option 1, option 2, and those who are choosing option 2, on what basis, on what formula they will be awarded marks. Now, if the ICSE is saying in Supreme Court that it will do what the CBSE is doing, does that also mean that just like the CBSE, which is going to take the past 3 examination marks into consideration, ICSE will also do the same? If yes, which 3 examinations are we talking about? You have taken the marks of only the pre-board examinations, right? Just like the CBSE, which is completely confused as to which 3 examinations was the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta speaking about in the Supreme Court. Was he referring to quarterly, half-yearly and pre-board examinations? In which case the ICSE will have to now get the quarterly and half-yearly examination marks also from the 2,600 odd ICSE affiliated schools. Or was Tushar Mehta speaking about the last 3 examinations out of the many examinations? For instance, for ICSE class 10, just to give an example, your last 3 examinations out of the 6 or 7 which you have done would be probably chemistry, physics and history civics. If I'm not getting it wrong, I don't have the date sheet in my memory right away. Was he referring to that? We do not know that. Okay, so there is that confusion, and probably the ICSE will need to clarify that in the Supreme Court on Friday. Okay. As to what will be the methodology which will be put in place, or will the ICSE adopt its own methodology which will be distinct from what the CBSE is doing? We do not know that. Okay. Now, my point is that if ICSE had to finally do what the CBSE is doing, why did you drag the case in the Bombay High Court for 3 weeks and keeping everyone in suspense as to what will finally happen to the class 10 and class 12 board examinations? Right? You could have actually settled this issue many days before, right? That's the point. Why kind of add to the anxiety and that whole formula business, this option 1 and option 2, making all the schools do all that process over the last 10 days or so. Finally, as far as the ICSE exams are concerned, I know it for a fact that the evaluation process is mostly over, but now they will have to take care of the formula and to take care of this remaining papers, right? So there's no clarity on when the ICSE and ISC results will be announced. But yes, we do expect that since CBSE will provide some clarity on the results date tomorrow in court, the same could more or less apply to ICSE, since ICSE is doing pretty much what the CBSE is doing. So we would assume that what applies to CBSE may more or less apply with a few days here and there to the ICSE also. So that is as far as the ICSE case is concerned. The curtains are down, more or less. The Supreme Court will deliver its formal verdict tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., during which we may probably get some more clarity on some of these contentious issues over which there is still some ambiguity. Okay, thank you very much for watching. You can chill for now, relax, no more examinations. God bless you. Stay safe. Thank you very much for watching.